Welcome to the Orange County Forum, where newsmakers keep you informed about local, national, and global issues that impact Orange County today.
Welcome to our event here at the Angel Stadium. So thank you very much for coming and sponsoring this event and honoring us with your presence. I'd like to introduce a couple of people. We have the Senior Vice President of Finance for Administration, Molly Jolly, from here from the Angels. Molly. And next, our speaker. He probably needs no introduction. His name is Dennis Kuhl. He's the team chairman of the Angels. The winning Angels. They're doing fantastic this year. I think they under his leadership, he's put together some great teams. He's been here for 11 years, and for 10 years, he's topped over 3 million in attendance. So he's done a very good job with the team. As far as Dennis goes, his background and everything about him is in your program, so I won't read everything aloud, but I mean, like I said, he's a man that doesn't need to be introduced. The chairman of the California Angels, Dennis Kuhl.
The one part I didn't understand was, I'm not getting paid for this? You know, last year, a little bit different this year. Last year I spoke here and talked about what my job was, and that was to motivate Mike Scioscia. And as you can see, it worked. And I saw Mike the other day and I said, Mike, you're doing a great job, and remember, win or win, I'm behind you 100%. You know, first of all, welcome to Angel Stadium. We did a little revamp here. I don't know if you noticed in the Diamond Club. It looks very good, and it's great to have you all here again. We've got some of the players here today with us, some of our young players that have helped this team achieve some success this year. You know, and we're looking forward to getting into the playoffs. We've had a little rough go of it here recently, but that's baseball. Baseball has its ups and downs. But I've never seen a team come together like this team. There's great camaraderie. They're all pulling for each other, and it's just great to see when the chemistry of a team. Some people say, well, that doesn't make a difference. I believe it does. I believe guys playing together and helping each other when some guys in a slump, our players are right behind them, helping them. And I mean, last night, CJ had a great game, and it was great to see. And went against one of our old players, Jerome Williams, which, sorry, Jerome. But it was a great game, and our fans are the best fans, and as far as I'm concerned, in the league, that have supported us through these through the years. Like last year was a rough year, and this year, boy, it's just it's so much more fun. I don't know what it is about winning, but when we're winning, I sleep better, the food tastes better, everything seems to be clearer, and everything works, it seems, when you're winning. Winning, like I say, cures all ills. So we'll keep it up. I know we had a road trip now to Texas and Boston and Oakland. Boy, 10 games left with Oakland. Here we go. This is going to be some fun. This is what it's about. So I would be happy before the players come up here, and Jose Moto will be here emceeing. Are there any questions I can't answer? Anybody? Where's Mary Pat? I know you always have a question.
Oh, I was going to save it for the man with the microphone. It's a question for the players, not
not for me?
not for you.
Okay, Mary Pat. Jose, are we ready? How do you like that? Thanks for listening. Okay, it's a pleasure for me to introduce Jose Moto, who's going to do the rest of the program. Great announcer and a great friend. Jose, welcome.
Thank you.
So Dennis' prerequisite was, of course, to hire a bilingual broadcaster. So that's why I answered, Vamonos. Well, you know what? Great to be here once again. Welcome. You guys are a huge part of the success of the Angels. You guys, through the years, I've done this maybe 7 or 8 times, and I always dread those years when the Angels are not doing very well. I'll be very honest with you. But if the season ended today, you know who's in the playoffs, right? Yes, sir. And I know that, of course, you know, the goal for these players, for everybody in the organization, is to take the division and go out there and, you know, make sure you're going to have a long first series. But once you're in, you're in. And it's all about the hottest team who plays well that one game, if it's a sudden death game and whatever it takes. But the key is to get an opportunity to get in there and let these guys continue to do what they're doing, which has been terrific. And of course, the support from you guys means a whole lot. And trust me, the players know about it, especially the newer players, the newer guys that we get to meet in spring training, and we get to see their personalities flow. We get to see guys that really get immersed and ask questions about the community, what it is like, who's involved, who's not involved, and also how much they can help. That's why with this ball club and listening to Dennis talk, it's how this team came together in spring training, and talking to Jerry Laporta, our general manager, about one of those messages you sent to your ball club early. And if you look at the complexion of this team and how it's built, how it's been built up to that right now, there's been guys that were taken off the 40-man rosters, which, trust me, it's a heartbreaker for anybody. There's been guys that have come up here for a day or two and have not appeared in a game. There's been guys that were forgotten about. I would say, I'm a former baseball player. I know what it's like. Sometimes you're forgotten about. What you do is you pick yourself up. You say, I'm going to make somebody notice. You go out there and do your job, and you take care of business. And that's why I really take a lot of pleasure introducing two guys that, without them, trust me, it's not just the guys you see in the news all the time. It's not just the highlighters. It's not just the guys with the big contracts. It's the grinders that you need every single day. And Mike Scioscia needs and counts on, like any championship manager will tell you can't do it without your 23rd, 25th guy. And if you flip it around, those are the guys that most of the time are going to pick you up when the star falls. Josh Hamilton went down this year. Colin Caligo steps up. Eric Ibar, if he needs a day off. Third base, David Freese goes down. We have John McDonald. That's why I'd like to introduce, first of all, John McDonald, who has been around the game for so long, and he knows so much about the business of the game of catching the ball, magical hands, the mental side of the game, and is one of the best influences in that clubhouse. And certainly he is from back east, and he is reintroducing everybody to that culture again. John, welcome aboard, and come on. Making the team, veteran player, what is it like to not have that security as a veteran player when you know you've done a lot for yourself, spring training? Is it all about proving yourself once again?
Well, I think you feel like you have to prove yourself every day. I mean, that's one of the things that I love about playing at this level, is because you can't ever take anything for granted. So when I went to spring training this year, or even during the course of the winter, I thought I might not have had a job. I was into January and I hadn't had a job yet, and I was contemplating. I think my wife thought that was going to be the end of my career. She was ready to have me home, and then I get a call from the Angels, and just an opportunity to come to spring training and compete for a job, compete for a spot, and that was all I wanted. Mike Scioscia, Jerry Laporta put some faith in me, let me play in a bunch of games in spring training and earn a spot to be part of this team. And in all the years that I was playing, I've always felt like I've had to earn a spot in spring training. I've had a handful of small guaranteed contracts where I knew the club was going to have to pay me during the course of the year, but that doesn't guarantee that you're going to be on the team. I see so many guys that get guarantees that, it doesn't work out for you in spring training. A guy's a little banged up, he doesn't make the team, 2 years later he's out of baseball. So I've always had the mentality that you have to earn everything. You have to go out and work, you have to outwork your competitors. You try to outwork the starters. I always dream of being a starter. I've never been a starter. I always work to be a starter. I am happy being a utility player, but never satisfied.
And by the way, it is August. Last August, how many teams has he played for yet already?
Last year, at the end of August, I was traded to my 5th team of the year last year. Yeah, which was crazy. I started the year with Arizona, traded to Pittsburgh, traded to Cleveland, traded to Philly, traded to Boston. I live back in Boston, so I got to go home with Boston, and that year ended. 2 months in Boston I probably played in 10 games, didn't have any meaningful at-bats, the 2 most enjoyable months of my career.
All about being home. And by the way, you are home now.
Well, it's all about winning a World Series. Being home was great. It was 15 years in baseball at the time. I played in postseason games. but it didn't really matter. Going to the ballpark with a group of players that feel like they're going to win a World Series, like what we have here right now, is an awful lot of fun.
Since I said that you're home now, why don't you win a World Series then? You're home, right? Let's win a World Series.
My family's back in Boston, though.
See?
This is my baseball home right now. Why don't we win another? I'm greedy. I would love to win another one.
Well, and one of the questions that comes up a lot, people that watch the game and see you come in the 7th or 8th inning to play defense, and we always say in the broadcast, somehow the ball will find you. How do you keep calm? How do you stay prepared knowing that you're going to be coming in tie ball games, and the ball eventually will find you?
Well, that's the thing. When I'm not hitting the ball very well right now. That's really no secret to anyone that's watching. I haven't gotten a hit since June. So the frustration in baseball is it's one of the reasons why we really love baseball. I'm not expected to go up here. I want to get a hit every time I go up there, but even when Mike Trout goes up, the expectation is he's going to get a hit. But there's a good chance he's hitting 300, so he gets a hit 3 out of 10 times. So there's a better than decent chance that he's not going to get a hit, even though he's one of the best players in the game. I want any hit. So the offensive side of my game is all about failure. The defensive side is all about perfection. I can't make a mistake on defense. So it's a totally different mindset, and I think I've been trying to recreate the mindset on offense that I am expected to get a hit every time. And it's two opposite ends of the spectrum. Preparing every day to be perfect. I like to prepare. I like to take ground balls. I like to, every day I want to take the ground balls that I might get in the game, so nothing in the game is going to surprise me. You know, just like business, you don't want to be surprised with anything. You want to be prepared in every aspect. If someone throws something on your desk, you've already seen it or you've already thought about it, so your job is going to be much easier. That's how I approach defense. I try to think about the plays before they happen in my mind, and when they happen, you just react, and you don't really you're not fazed by it because you expected the result to be positive.
It's always about being positive, and certainly as broadcasters, we admire and respect the fact that he has a tough job, he gets it done, and we don't care about the hits. I know you do, but you do a good job catching the ball.
I just want one more by the end of the year.
About a nice hand for John. Thank you. And as we continue on guys that really make a difference, and guys that you admire from the first day you see them in spring training, just working their tails off. Guys that are not taking a day in the big league for granted, knowing that at any given point there's somebody else that wants their job. I saw this kid coming to the Angels last year, Angels organization, and I haven't seen him play at any other speed but one. You talk about Mike Trout, the talent, but this guy gets the most out of everything he has, and he has been a huge contributor. And wherever Mike Scioscia calls, he's there. Whenever the teammates call, he's there. How about Colin Cowgill? A nice hand for him. So Mike Scioscia says, if we have pitching, things are going to be fine. And you know what happened last year without Weaver and having Weaver out for so long. And John, you can relate to this too. But biggest difference you see, of course, with guys developing like a Garrett Richards, but certainly in team chemistry, playing together, and the way the team has come together with stars on the team and with the role players. What has been the key this season?
Well, I'd tell you what, overcoming our injuries early, with Cole going down and Josh going down, and kind of getting that stuff out of the way early, and we were kind of able to sustain, a decent record while they were gone. But our overall health of our ball club this year has been outstanding. With our pit, knock on wood, God forbid. But the overall health of our team has been great. But guys like Garrett Richards taking the mound every day gives us as offensive players confidence, knowing, hey, we only got to put up a couple today. We know we're going to win the game when these guys are on the mound. CJ's throwing great now. Weaver's been unbelievable. And then getting contributions from a guy like Matt Shoemaker and Hector Santiago. And not to mention all the great additions we've made to our bullpen. And now I believe we are the best bullpen in the business. So if we can score some runs and our starters can get us to our bullpen, we got a good chance of winning every night. So I don't think there's one key to this whole thing, but I think it's a matter of all of us kind of working together, picking each other up, whether it be the offense one day or the defense the other day or the pitching staff. I just think because we're so together as a crew, as a group, we pick each other up every day, and it's who's it going to be today, not just the offense or the defense. It's the whole team.
Going back to John, and then you can answer also Colin, is you guys are also fans of the game. You've been around many superstars. Difference, what you see that really makes the separation between the Trouts and the Pujols and the Big Poppies of the world and the guys that, you know, the John Lesters. What makes them so good day in and day out from you, teammate, and also fan perspective?
Well, they're, you know, I think like all of us, they're extremely prepared, and it just doesn't come natural. You take somebody that has unbelievable natural ability, natural instincts, the ability to hit a baseball, instinctual things that they do on the field, and then you add their work ethic to it, their desire to be not just the best player on your team, but the best player in the game, one of the best players. I know Albert and Mike, it's not something that they're going to talk about, but they're in the conversation for some of the best players that have ever played the game at their respective positions and at different ages of their career. So they are working to get to another level that we're not going to get to. It's just, you know, everybody would love to, you know, but they have that combination of work ethic and talent that separates them from other people, and it's impressive to watch. You know, when they go up when Mike Trout hits in extra innings, you shouldn't expect that he's going to hit a home run, but you sit there and you really think it's possible. You know, I'm not going to hit a home run in that situation. It's just probably not going to happen. I have one, but nobody thought it was going to happen. But when they come up in that situation, I mean, that's the level that they are at in their mind. You know, they know they're the best. They've worked for it. They're prepared for it. They want to be in that situation more than anything, and they believe that they're going to succeed. And they know they're talented enough. So that's a combination for the best players in the game. We watch Ortiz when he came in the other day. He looks like he expects to hit a home run every time he comes up. And the bigger the situation, the better he's going to do. Certain players can rise to the occasion, and that's when their talent and preparation meet with their combination of ability.
Colin, same for you. We've been around different organizations. So what do you see as a separation there? Even on the mental side that relates to everybody trying to strive to be the best. And those guys have become tremendous performers under pressure.
It really is incredible. And I could go on and on and on about Mike Trout and Albert Pujols and Josh Hamilton and Jared. All these guys that we have on this team. It's really amazing to be a part of such an elite group. But like, you kind of echo what John said, but the combination of not only talent, these guys are the most talented people in the world, but when you combine that talent with the work ethic that these guys possess, it's really incredible what they can do. We always joke about, you know, one day there's going to be a league for the Miguel Cabreras and the Mike Trouts, and they can all go and play against each other and let me and Johnny play every day. You know, so we can have our fun. You know, we can try to, you know, they can have all those people, and we'll go and then form our own league and let those guys be the best. But no, it really is incredible. They don't get enough credit for how much time they spend in the cage, how much time they spend in the weight room, and how many sprints Jared's running out here, and how much time Garrett and CJ spend in the weight room. They're hardly ever at their chairs in their locker. They're always doing something to get better, whether it's watching videos, studying their own mechanics, preparing for the Phillies. How are we going to get Ryan Howard out today? What are we going to pitch to Marlon Byrd in a big situation with runners in scoring position? They already know these things before they get on the mound. They've already done it in their head. And Mike Trout's in the cage working on what A.J. Burnett's going to do to him today. What's he going to try to do? How's he going to try to get him out? And he's already preparing himself for that at bat before it happens. And their ability to put those two together, and then we've all seen what they can do on the field. My favorite Mike Trout moment, I think, was when he hit the grand slam off of Chris Sale to tie the game at 5. We come back and beat the White Sox. This is maybe the best left-handed pitcher in the game, at least in the American League. And Mike Trout hits a pitch off the ground for a grand slam to tie the game and win it. There's just not many things that can compare to that. So it's really special watching these guys go about their business every day.
Last thing for me, and I think all of you now see new graphics being inserted into the game. You see defensive alignments, how things change, and how many more base hits John McDonald's taking away from people now. How they're lining up Colin Cowgill to be in the right spot at the right time. So with all the new information coming up as the game has evolved, how is preparation different now than even 5-6 years ago, even last year?
I think it's taking all the information and putting yourself in the best place or best spot to be successful. without taking away your own instincts. So we get charts, we look at where each individual hitter on the other team is going to hit the ball. But when you stand out there, you still have to feel you're in the right spot. Just because a coach wants to put you in a certain spot doesn't mean that that's going to be the best spot to be able to make a play. There are uncomfortable spots on the field. Some guys go better to their right or better to their left. I go better to my left. I don't have as strong of an arm as Eric Ivar is going to have. So if you're going to put me and Eric in the same spot compared to the chart, he's going to stay straight up a little bit more, and I'm going to probably take a step to my right because I know if I have to leave my feet to my right, I need a little bit more time to make a throw, and I can go better to my left. So you still have to take all of the information that you get and think of you as a player and how I can have all this information in my head. Now how am I going to make this out? What am I seeing from a guy's swing? Is he late? Is with 2 strikes, do certain hitters have a tendency to get around the ball and hit choppers in front of you at third instead of staying back? So lately on some hitters I've been moving up. So nobody gets a cheap hit in front of me with 2 strikes instead of staying back. You still have to use your instincts and taking all this information and the shifts. Certain spots in the shift are tougher. Certain hitters run faster. So you're always constantly adjusting to how you're going to get this out. How am I going to be in the right spot to make this out for our team?
Like in business, you get all the charts, you get all the information, and gut instincts takes over. Colin, outfielder, different situation, a lot of more information. You have some great athletes next to you. How do you gauge all that as to how far you should go and when you should go?
I mean, when I play next to Mike, I just let him take everything. He can have the gaps. No, it's very similar. And we go a lot by pitcher to pitcher. For instance, CJ last night, I don't know if you guys watched the game or if you noticed, but our outfield plays a little deeper with CJ, and that's his personal preference. He would rather have us play deeper, and he would rather give up the cheap hits rather than the balls in the gap. He wants us to be able to cover the balls in the gap and the doubles, extra base hits a little better, and it's different from pitcher to pitcher. When Garrett's pitching, we usually, the right-handed hitters have, tendency to be late on Garrett because he throws so hard, so we kind of give him the pull side as a right-handed hitter or left-handed hitter, whichever corner I'm in, and we kind of think about playing the opposite way, so they're going to be late and hit the ball. Right-handers going to hit the ball to the right side, and left-handers going to hit the ball to the left side. So we adjust accordingly to who's on the mound, and we get a lot of information from Dino as well as to this guy with 2 strikes. He likes to reach out and poke the ball the opposite way, just trying to looking for a hit, slap a hit. So we'll play shallow a little bit, but we have all that information as well, and we know how deep to play him. If this guy's got power, we might take a couple steps back. That's part of it's kind of the common sense of it, but it's also the instincts of the game. If this guy's late, we're going to take a couple steps on our own just to make sure we got all these holes covered. Brett Butler was my manager one year in AAA, said you only cover 3 of the 4 holes in the outfield, so let's try to cover them the best of our ability. And that information that we get is really important for that, so we can maybe leave a hole open, maybe the left field line or the right field line, to make sure we can cover the other 3 holes the best we can.
The last thing, what is a key as a team from here on not to get caught up in the standings? Mike Scioscia says he never looks at it. I don't believe him. 13 years, I don't believe him. But what is key to stay focused and make sure that you don't worry about what's happening behind you or in front of you and just play your best game for both of you?
I mean, it's cliche, but right now we're worried about A.J. Burnett. We're worried about the Philadelphia Phillies today. We'll start worrying about Texas on Friday, and we'll worry about Oakland when we get there. If we can win today, it doesn't matter what they do. If we can win every day, obviously that's the goal, and keep moving forward. Win or lose, put that behind us, focus on what we have to do that day. I think that's the best way to keep from looking too far ahead or getting caught up in what may be a little lull that we may or may not be in right now that we're on our way out of.
Experience, man.
I think it's great that everyone has their own mindset and the way to approach things. And I've been playing long enough where my mind has shifted. I love the fact that we're in a pennant race, and I probably look at the standings 5 times a day, even though they don't change. I love it. I mean, I love the fact that I'm on a team that is in the mix, and I'm with a group of guys that think that they can win, and it's an awful lot of fun. And I love watching the scoreboard. I was in the car. me, Colin, and David Freese were in the car the other day, and we're driving home from LA after we played the Dodgers, and I'm on my phone on the Gamecast, kind of watching pitch by pitch of what's going on with the Oakland game, and David's yelling at me. He's yelling at me from the back seat to turn it off, that they don't care who's winning. And I'm like, all right, I'll turn it off, and I just put it there on my lap and kept on looking at it. I mean, for me, I love the whole aspect of being an independent race and watching what other teams are doing and watching other teams do well and watching them lose. I love watching them lose. It makes me happy. So I kind of, you know, I live in the moment in my preparation, you know, but during the game, in between innings, and I'll stare out at the scoreboard and look at all the teams. All right, who's winning, who's losing, and somebody will score a run, and damn, you know why? I hope they, you know, you're hoping everybody loses in the back of your mind, but you don't focus on it. I mean, it's out of our control, so it's just fun for me. You know, you're so focused on your game. The other outside things are great, and I think to a certain degree, you have to embrace the fact that you're in a pennant race and enjoy the hell out of it.
Personalities, man, just like us, they're all fans, and certainly thank you so much, guys. That's why the team is playing so well. Dennis? Q&A. Sure.
Got one over there.
Very bad.
There she is.
Mary Pat looks ready.
My question relates to the injuries that baseball players sustain when they go to the first base and take their gloves off, and then they run to second or run to third or run home, and they don't injure their hands enough to have to leave the game, but they sustain hand injuries. Now, Yadier Molina, a month or so ago, was sliding into third base, and he put his right arm out with the hand out and broke his thumb. So he's had it in a cast for over a month. But that doesn't usually happen. I'm just aware that these injuries do occur, and I wonder why the players don't leave their batting gloves on, and if that would help if they did leave them on. This is something that's always worried me. Can you tell me something to do other than just stop worrying?
I think Yadier would have still broken his thumb or tore a ligament even if he was wearing his gloves. I've done both, and the only difference for me is my hand doesn't get cut up. Sometimes when you dive around the field, you'll get your hand caught on a rock or a little pebble, and it'll slice the palms of your hand. Minor, where it's gone the next day or 2 days later. So taking your gloves off or leaving them on doesn't really matter. Sometimes it's how you slide. Sometimes guys will slide a little careless and or dive into first base, or I think you expect to slide the same way your whole career. Unfortunately, as you get older, you get a little slower, and you tend to try to do a little too much, and that's when some silly injuries can occur. But we try not to worry about any injuries, and after they happen, we try to get through them as quick as possible and get back to helping. I don't want you to worry.
Thank you very, very much. I want to tell you something about these two guys. You know, ball players don't get a lot of days off. They really don't. I think we have 2 days off in August, 2 days off in September, and that's about it. But these two gentlemen, on their days off, I don't know if you know this, go over to Chalk Hospital and spend all morning over there with the cancer kids that have cancer over there and do a great job. Thank you very, very much.
The Orange County Forum is brought to you through the generous support of the Orange County Register and our sustaining partners. For more information about the Orange County Forum, call 949-588-9884. The Orange County Forum is a nonprofit organization. Your contributions are tax deductible.